Hello, everyone. This is the Arsenal Trips Galaxy podcast, and joining me today is my friend Derek. Hello, Derek. How's it going today?
It's going well, man. How are you?
Pretty good. Just looking forward to how the season progresses as an Arsenal fan, and I'm sure you as well. So Derek, how did you become an Arsenal fan?
I actually became a fan probably, I think it was in 96, 97.
Oh, wow.
I was the only kid that I knew growing up that liked soccer. I played soccer all the time, and like everyone thought I was a weirdo because of how much I loved it. And my sisters ended up actually getting me a there was only in the U.S. there was only one soccer channel that showed English Premier League soccer or like world soccer. And it cost, I think it was like $15 a month extra for to have that channel. And my sisters paid for it. And I swear the I know the only games that they would show, it was like the Arsenal show, man. Like every single time I'd like wake up and like watch English Premier League, it was always Arsenal versus somebody. So it was like Bergkamp, Ian Wright, oh God, I can't think of everyone, but like that's who I like first like started falling in love with was Bergkamp and in that season. And like I think it had to have been 96
Yeah.
and because I was like 12 or 13. And I thought Arsenal just had the coolest name. I was like, oh my God, they're named after guns? Like that's so dope, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
As like a teenager, I thought it was so cool. And then I think it was in 99 is when Thierry Henry started for Arsenal and scored versus Leicester City. And that's he's been my favorite player ever since then, and he's my favorite announcer too. Like now, he's just like that guy's just so awesome. And watching Thierry Henry, uh, like that made me an Arsenal supporter even more. Like Bergkamp was phenomenal, Ian Wright was phenomenal, but Thierry Henry changed my life, I think.
Yeah, and I support Arsenal a little bit shorter than you actually. I've supported Arsenal since 2008 9 season, and you know, I told you this sort of time that the reason why I got into Arsenal was because of one day I was at church camp and my church and helping out, and uh, they were playing Euros back in 2008, and they had guys like Spain and Holland versus each other, I believe. And two names that kind of caught my eye were Cesc Fabregas and Robert Van Persie. And
Yeah.
I didn't know that they're on the same team in Arsenal until I have a good memory, so I kind of recognize the names. And I was going through a bookstore with my mom, and that bookstore was named Border. Remember Borders back in Market Street?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was going through magazines and I realized that those two guys were in the same team. And the first back then, the alphabetical order. So it was always Arsenal. It was the first club to have previews on there. So this is pretty cool, you know. So I just started from Arsenal because, like you, like the name was pretty cool, the Arsenal Gunners. And ever since then, I was a part of Arsenal. And I remember going to a podcast called the Bergkamp Wonderland Podcast. And in said podcast, they asked me, well, why did you start supporting Arsenal? And I said the same story. I'm like, well, there are names that were recognizable on the pages of that magazine that I liked. And so ever since then, I just started supporting Arsenal. So you mentioned the Fox Soccer Channel back in the day. What were some of the games that you remember recalling as an Arsenal supporter that really got you involved and wanted you to watch even more as an Arsenal fan?
Oh man, specific games. That's tough from then. Oh man, what's funny is that like I would just say FA Cups
Mm-hmm.
because the
Oh
league
yeah.
was always so disappointing with Man United at the time. Like it was just like Man United had such a stranglehold on the Premier League. It was always like it's kind of like how Man City is now, where it's like every time we're good, there's like some team in Manchester who's just dominating. But I think just the style of play. Like I always thought, especially when I first started watching Arsenal, I didn't think anybody like I was just playing in like leagues in the Woodlands in Texas,
Right.
and so when I first saw Arsenal play, like just their style was like really appealing to me. Like that's when I discovered that they called it the beautiful game. And I was like, oh, I see why. And that was that was also Arsene Wenger too at the time too. Like when I first started, and he was just Wenger ball was insane. I thought it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life, and I didn't know people could play, football that way. And yeah, so more than any just like games, I think it was just like whenever it worked, it was like the most beautiful thing you'll ever see in your life. Like the goal scored, like Bergkamp, like just I think at one year he had like three of the goals of the year, just for one player, and yeah, and just like I knew that like Arsene was like getting a whole bunch of players from the French league, which was like a novel idea at the time. And
Yeah.
and just I my last name's French. I have a connection to France, so I really enjoyed that a lot too. So I think just like more than just like certain games, because like winning the FA Cup, like I think they won it three times between like '96 and like
2002, right? And 2002 and 2005, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think we Arsenal's won the FA Cup more than any other team,
Yeah.
and like I think like watching those were just really fun, and just like and of course the Invincible season, that was like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. One of my dear friends is from Leeds United, or not,
Oh,
he's not,
yeah.
but he's from Leeds, and
Yeah.
like he doesn't watch soccer at all, but I always just followed Leeds, just because like I could talk to him about it, and so I remember that game when it was like it looked like they were going to be the only team to pick up points or win against pick up points and win against Arsenal, and then it ended up being 4-4. And I remember freaking out and just like being like, "Did you watch that game?" Like
Yeah.
it was insane. I think that was one of the most exciting. I've never, I don't think there's ever been a moment in my life where I was like screaming at my TV watching a soccer game than that one. I thought that was probably the game when like that solidified that like I'll kill a Tottenham fan if I have to, like like that. Just Arsenal was the team for me, was that. I think that would be like the game that really got me into it. And also living in Texas specifically, I didn't have any, like professional soccer teams,
Yeah.
we had like some indoor soccer teams. We had the Houston Hot Shots.
That's right.
Um,
Yeah.
that was fun. So I would go to those games and I'd watch those. And like I met a couple of those players. That was fun. And we had a Dynamo team here, I think in the 80s. And I remember, I think we had Pele play here before.
Yeah.
But yeah, we never really had anything. So I waited 25 years for the Dynamo to show up. And so for 25 years, I've been straight Arsenal. And then now I have a local team that I can at least, hate the rest of MLS, and support the Dynamo.
It's funny you mentioned Bergkamp because he's a polarizing figure, not just with Arsenal, but of course with the Dutch as well.
Mhm.
And I remember that goal he scored against Newcastle those years ago when he had great footwork. And he was like a magician off the ball as well.
Yeah.
And I think that he made Thierry Henry better as a footballer as well. Um, and we've been so lucky to have a lot of great talent come through Arsenal. And my favorite player is not Thierry Henry, it's not Bergkamp, it's Sol Campbell. Partly because
Ah,
he came from Tottenham and he didn't want to stay stuck there, knowing that he could have done more. And when he came to Arsenal, I remember it was big news because he came from an arch rival. He was our captain, obviously, and I think Arsene Wenger got the better of him as not just a player but as a person as well. And you still hear stories about him going back to Tottenham and the fans just hating him and all that stuff. Um, Derek, Derek froze. Yeah, yeah. So
sorry, I got a call.
to me, he's like one of the best players, best center backs we ever had. Of course, you have Tony Adams. You have others as well, like Marcus Soccer lately, and of course, Laurent Koscielny as well. He's one of my favorite players as well.
Kashoni? Yeah, I miss
Yeah,
that guy.
though he did kind of mess up his jersey swap there at the end of his career, but you can't really blame him for that. Or you can't really blame a player that was promised a lot, uh, as he says in reason why he put Arsenal. So there's a lot of speculation there and a lot of transitioning as well that he may not want to be a part of. So tell me about, in your opinion, now how you feel about Arsenal today as a football club. I know we've gotten through some hard times back in the early 2000s with Unai Emery as well as Miguel Arteta trying to find his way. So what is your opinion based on that?
Uh, I love it. I love Arteta. I actually liked Arteta when he played for Arsenal. Like I even liked him when he played for Everton. But I think he brought heart back because just watching that last game versus Man United, it felt like another Arsenal team would have conceded. Like
Yeah,
because they were having like it was a fun but frustrating game, but at no point during that game did I think that they one weren't trying to win, and two that they didn't have control. Like they had like Man United just was not going to score. It felt like, and I really enjoyed seeing like all the Arsenal fans in the stadium celebrating that game because it was so huge, and not just for like the points that were picked up, but also just like for like going through, I guess like 2000, like the last 12 years I'd say of being an Arsenal fan have been really hard. Like even with just like losing players that were good because they didn't want to play for Arsenal because like just everything seemed to go wrong. Like after I think right after Arshavin left and stuff,
mm,
and like it's been really so to see like the change in the club and to actually be in the title race like as a true contender I mean it's going to come down to like somebody messing up in one game, literally one game, which is wild. And yeah, I guess I'm a Tottenham fan right now, but it's been such a good, just a good change. Like I can't complain about Arteta at all. Like I think he's been sensational since coming here, and I also like the fact that I hate it when it's so weird that how quickly managers get sacked
hmm
in England because like I remember like Chelsea went through like 10 managers and they had like Goose Hiddick and they had like some really good managers. They even had I forget who it was who won the Champions League and then they fired him the next day.
Wasn't
Uh,
it Di Matteo, right? Roberto Di Matteo?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
that was wild. And then, even with like Thomas Tuchel, it's like, yeah, yeah, whatever. That dude, they
Yeah.
they had him for like, like he won the Champions League and they just sacked him. And it's like sometimes you have to give a manager some time, like actual time. Like, and so I'm glad that like, because there was moments when, us Schooners really do like to give our managers shit, and like it's like especially like the last couple years with Arson, it was really hard because like everyone was like wanting him out, but every time we would yell about like wanting Wenger out, it was like, who are you going to replace him with? Like
That or he went FA Cups, so he saved his job basically.
yeah, it was like it was wild. So yeah, there like having Arteta, it feels like we finally we found, and it didn't take that long. We went through just a couple other managers, and then when Arteta came here, it was like we found our new Wenger, which is awesome.
So I want to say hello to BX Skinner. He's a good friend of the podcast, as well as other podcasts. And he says since the end of 2006, it all started going downhill.
Yeah,
And he's right because, you look back on that final whenever Arsenal played Barcelona and look at Henry leaving, you look at, the rest of the Silva leaving, you look at Ashley Cole leaving, you look at, Phil Campbell going away, and you look at guys like Alexander Heb leaving. And you look at the abundance of players that left that squad during those maybe 2 3 years, moving forward. You think about the players that could have been great here, but they decided to leave for other ventures or whatnot. And it seems like they don't want to play for Arsenal because they reached a plateau. Especially those guys that they went invincible and also won the FA Cup against Manchester United. They thought they could go elsewhere to win different other trophies, which fair play to them. But it seemed like there was a time that Arsenal didn't want, or players didn't want to become legends anymore at Arsenal. So they
yeah,
all left for Barcelona or Chelsea or Man United or Italy or France, what have you.
yeah.
And thinking about what could have been, right? Because they were so young. Yeah, BX
I,
says if Diaby and Eduardo would have been injured, they would have stayed competitive. I agree.
yeah,
And I don't remember their Abu Dhabi and Eduardo, because they were supposed to be they were supposed to be they're supposed to be the next in line to be the next Sierra, and I guess Eduardo was brought in to replace Henry in his goals, but they got hurt really bad as well, so they couldn't really cover for those two players that were leaving. They had talent; they're always hurt, however, so they can't really come back to their full stature. And also been unlucky with the players that have been hurt. Like you talk about Wilshere could have been a great player, as well as Aaron Ramsey to a certain extent. Um, but yeah, it's kind of hard to replace guys like Ashley Cole. It's kind of hard to replace guys like Henry, even Van Persie when he left the way he did it to Manchester United. It was kind of hard even to replace Cesc Fabregas, who it's interesting because they all regret leaving Arsenal once they left because they know how much they meant to their club. They lost Derek. He'll be back. Yeah, Eduardo was cooking. You're right. Yeah, he would have been amazing. Even when he came back from an injury, he still was pretty decent striker. Here's Derek. Yeah.
my girlfriend keeps calling me. It's killing me.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
it's cute.
yeah. So
Wasn't
there.
Eduardo from Mexico too?
No, he was from Croatia via
That's
Brazil.
okay. Okay.
So
I thought we had a Mexican player for a second.
yeah, Carlos Villa.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. So Eduardo,
That guy
BX
ruled.
says Eduardo was really cooking when that hard tackle occurred. Then we were fighting for it. We were fighting for the league, and it was a huge blow. Yeah, because that game, William Gutierrez was crying on the pitch. Remember that at
Mm-hmm.
the end at Birmingham. So yeah, I mean, like we've had players that were always hurt or could never play a full season. Even Van Persie, had those years where he was always hurt. You couldn't depend on him because he was on the bench or recovering. Yeah. So, in your opinion, who was the best player that was always hurt that had a lot of bad luck on their side? Which to this day could still make a difference for Arsenal.
Oh my God, that's there's a lot. Even Arshavin was hurt a lot too. Uh, it's like yeah. Now that I think about it, you're right. Like everyone got hurt. Um, yeah, I think we could have won if Percy had been healthy more. I think during his seasons we were the closest, to actually having a good like a actual. Uh, so yeah, I would say Percy.
Yeah, I mean, to me, look at all of it. They all have the potential to be great players, right? Look at Jack Wilshere. Look at Aaron Ramsey. Got horrific
Oh yeah,
tackle.
Jack Wilshere, man, that guy was
Yeah,
amazing too when he played. Holy
yeah,
crap! These are questions I haven't thought about in forever, but yeah,
yeah.
man,
So
He would have been great for the national team too.
yeah,
It's
England.
wild.
So
Yeah,
having a guy like Fabregas next to him during those 2 years or so really made a difference in both their games. They made each other better. And I remember that game against Barcelona where he just bossed both Xavi and Iniesta, right? In
yeah,
that game, in Champions League game, that we thought they could have won, but stupid Van Persie got a red card because he couldn't hear the whistle blow.
yeah. That
Uh,
was insane. He got a
yeah,
red card for not hearing a whistle. That was in the like 10th minute too. It was like
yeah,
really quick. Yeah,
and
that sucked.
that was like corruption 2.0 right there, dude.
Yeah, like that was wild. I still haven't had a good explanation of why that happened. He like kicked the
Yeah,
ball. They got mad because he kicked the ball.
yeah, and that year, the year after that, Van Persie basically scored all those goals by himself. So they were just resorts to being fourth all the time because of the injuries. They didn't really have enough players to help him out, and I think that's why he left. The year after he set the record, he got the most goals in the Premier League. Um,
Yeah. You know who
and
I
that
might say now too, by the way? I might say Jesus, bro. Like if Gabriel Jesus
um,
stayed healthy like all this year, we might have had like a proper striker up front, or like he would be in form to where like there's some games that we needed some help off the bench, that I can think of right now. And like one of the Villa games, if he was actually like like 100% because he looks like he's been playing 70% every time he comes on. It's like I feel like
yeah,
we've never had anybody come off the bench, especially even this year, like real other than like Martinelli. It's either Trussard or Martinelli. That's it. But we don't have like a striker to come off the bench, a proper one like Gabriel, Jesus.
yeah. So bring up your point. I was going to ask you later on today during this podcast, but I'll ask you this question, Derek.
Yeah.
Do you think that the fact that we got Jesus to help us kick goals and whatnot, do you think that Arsenal should try to sell him
Oh yeah.
this summer, or do you think we should just keep him just for the sake of having backup? Because since he's been on, he has been dependable enough, and when he's on the pitch, he doesn't deliver like we all think he should. Um, he wanted to play striker, but he's not a striker; he's a winger.
Right.
Do you think that it's a testament to him not being motivated to be better, or do you think do you think he's just okay with just going to grounds and not being as productive as he should be?
It's hard to tell what's up with him because he has been injured, and then all he's got, but he hasn't. I mean, he just when he comes on, nobody's like, oh, here's somebody who can score goals,
Mm.
or even really like. I don't think he does anything. I mean, he has a good work rate, I guess, but he doesn't really do anything that I think, um, would I'd want him next season. Really, like if you could get any money for him, I'd probably take him. But at this point, you're probably looking at lower teams who are going to buy him because, you send him to Italy. He'll have
Yeah,
fun in Italy.
because he's still a good player there. It's
Yeah.
just that unfortunately it hasn't worked out for him here at Arsenal.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think he has brought in to help the guys in the locker room have confidence in themselves, like Zinchenko. And my thoughts on Zinchenko are just as he's just only good for being a cheerleader.
Yeah.
And he to me every time comes on the pitch or starts, he makes me really nervous because he knows something's going to happen with him. What are your thoughts on Zinchenko? Is he a player that just is very lucky to have a good player in Megaless beside him, or do you think that he tries too hard to do so many things that he shouldn't have to do?
I think the latter. Yeah, I think that he tries to do things that he shouldn't have to do. I think that uh, just with time, I think he'll get better. He's definitely somebody I'd invest another season in at least. And see what I could do. Gabriel Jesus, yeah, sometimes, you know, you know, things work out, and sometimes things don't. And this feels like one of those where, I think Gabriel we should buy somebody else. Like we should be on the market. I think.
Okay, so on this other podcast I do, it's called a Phil Nelson podcast. Oh no,
Yeah.
sorry. It's called an Arsenal Fan Circle podcast.
Uh, yeah.
Jay isn't laughing at me because I messed up. So
No worries.
we had a joke that the joke is that Arteta had his shitbag six, right? That the six players that they should sell
Yeah.
to get money off of. Who do you think your six players are that Arsenal should sell over the summertime?
Oh my God, that's a hard question. And I'm so nice. I would just give everyone a chance. It's like
On
so
you, huh?
brutal. Yeah, I'm like way too sweet. Like I like everyone. Like I don't know. Who's your six?
My six would be Zinchenko. It would be Gabriel Jesus,
Hmm.
uh, Eddie
Yeah.
Nketiah, Bruce Nelson,
Yeah, and, Nicky.
um, maybe Cesar Suarez, and maybe Professor Vieira.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, he hasn't been very like good off the bench either, or starting. Like we have, like that's been an issue. Like we need a Holland type player up front, and we don't. You know?
Well, Kai Havertz is kind of close, but I think Arteta's done with Havertz to give his confidence back is pretty remarkable. Given the fact that he has now, I guess, what now 12 goals, right? 12 goals and 9 assists, right?
Yeah,
Is everything you want in a striker in this current system we have. Um, which
that's
Antonio,
true.
which Antonio okay with. If that makes the team better, then why change it, right? But I get
Yeah,
people want a striker, an in and out striker that can score goals because those games that we drew and lost, we didn't really have enough up front to help us get those wins that we needed.
I think so.
And granted, the goals came, but they came at time. We needed more goals in those games specifically.
Yeah,
Um,
timely
so
goals.
yeah, right. So today, Derek Villa played Liverpool in a 3-3 draw.
Yeah,
Um, I didn't see the
phenomenal.
game. Did you
I
watch the
listened.
game?
Yeah, I listened to it. They were yeah, and Liverpool was when I was listening to the first half. Liverpool were up. 2-1 by that point. And
Okay.
then I listened to the last little bit when Villa secured the tie.
It's quite interesting because on a podcast we were we were dissecting which games, we had all three teams in the chase. It was Arsenal, City, and Liverpool, and we
Yeah,
all compared schedules on which team would likely lose out, basically. And
we had the harder schedule, I think.
I really saw a big right there because we played Villa, we played City, we played Liverpool, I believe. No,
Yeah,
it was during that run. So we played Brighton, played a lot of good teams during that run. Played United. So it's a shame that we don't get points for strength and scheduling, right?
yeah, I
Um,
know. Especially
but
against Villa, man. Jeez.
we are a good team, and
Yeah,
I think it should not be ignored that Emery is a good coach. I
yeah,
think his time at Arsenal was cut short because the staff and management didn't believe in him.
yeah. I think so.
But it wouldn't have worked at the time, and I don't think it would have worked now. Um, but he did try, and it was a report that they're trying to get someone else, but then they decided to sell with Pepe instead. So there was a lot of transition during that time as well, Derek. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we compared the teams that each one faced. We had no idea how bad Liverpool would fall off during that point because
Yeah, it
we
was
all thought
phenomenal.
we all thought that it would have been Liverpool still being in it and City dropping off. Um,
Really?
yeah,
Wow. I thought I was worried about Liverpool, but yeah, I've always felt scared of City, man. Like,
yeah,
they're like I think I really like Foden. Phil Foden is just a beast, man. Like, and he's having an incredible season. And then yeah, it sucks. It sucks that because I'm from it's like being an American and watching English Premier League. It's like I like players, and
hmm
I also like watch players that are from um, like Yanks. I'm always
right.
if you have a American on your team, so I'll watch Chelsea when Pulisic was playing. Um, but yeah, I like players, and yeah, so it's like I like the players on City, and it sucks. Like
Yeah,
I just want him to lose one game. Is that too much to ask? That's all I need. I don't they
yeah.
play? Do they play West Ham next?
They played Tottenham Tuesday tomorrow.
Oh my God, they
Um,
won. Tottenham won in relegated Burnley, I think,
yeah,
uh, today. So hopefully they're riding high. And oh God, I have to be a Tottenham fan.
yeah. So it's funny because yesterday the guy who was interviewing Kai Havertz and Trezor, he was like, "Well, Kai, are you gonna be the biggest Tottenham supporter?" He was, yeah, I'm the biggest Tottenham supporter. I'm like, oh, great. It, it's come
We
down.
should. That's so
It,
funny.
yeah, it's come down to us supporting Tottenham for being very young like
We should all get Tottenham jerseys for it, man.
that. Yeah, well,
We can burn them in effigy afterwards.
yeah, and
So
then
funny.
they play West Ham as well. Not only that, Derek, but we're also reaching goal differential as well. So my hope
Yes.
was we would get more goals against United, but Everton are a horrible team, and they should got relegated last year, but they didn't. And yeah, it's a shame that they're staying up as well this year. So, what are your thoughts on the Everton Arsenal game?
On the Everton Arsenal game.
Yeah,
Oh, is that the one? Did we lose?
and we're playing them Sunday.
Oh, we're playing them Sunday. Oh, okay. I was like, oh my God, when did that happen? I was like, I just watched. Well, actually, Everton looks good, so I hope we just play well. You know, but I think that we could. You know, I don't think there's going to be much problems. They won today. Everton did. Um, I think so. I was looking at some highlights earlier today, and yeah, Everton played Sheffield United today, right?
Um,
I think they won. I saw I saw that they were up 2-0, but
oh,
man,
they won 1-0.
oh, I
They won.
guess.
They won Saturday. 1-0 against Sheffield United.
Oh, okay. That was Sunday, Golly. I don't
Uh,
know what
Saturday.
day it is. Okay, yeah, I don't know what day it is ever. I guess I thought there was like tons of games happening today.
Yeah. So Everton don't score much goals either. So there's always a chance of them not scoring any goals. So we'll
I
see
know
what
they're.
happens.
I'm pretty sure they're safe though now from relegation. So that's. I think that bodes well for us that we're not facing an Everton that really gives a shit at the moment. You know, like it's always tough when you're facing a team that's pretty decent facing relegation. You know, and I think they're a couple points clear. So I think at least that's like you know, like not on the table right now because that you know that's one of the fun things about the Premier League is that like some of the relegation battle games are just as fun as like top of the table, you know. So I think it's good that they're you know they seem to be safe. So maybe they're just chilling and had too much champagne. They're all already celebrating their campaign, you know. 'Cause you know what sucks is that they got, you know, they got penalized uh, for you know like spending too much money or whatever, or like making illegal, you know. And City also got it also got like in trouble for the same thing, and they didn't get any point deductions.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to wait it out until the season ends.
What I mean, I don't.
Because
Do you mind if you win? Okay, so there's my question to you. Would you hate it if we won the league because City was penalized?
if that were the case, we should have won last year too.
Hmm.
And you know, it's called 115 counts FC for a reason, Derek. And you know, you think about just the repercussions that they could be found guilty of. You know, clubs could sue, and the clubs can ask the eventual winners. You're talking about years of like fourth place finishes being determined. You're talking about Champions League placings. You're talking about
Yeah.
a lot of things can go right or wrong. And talking about how many teams are relegated because of City's wrongdoing, right?
Right.
Um, so just assuming a huge mess if they're found guilty, but we both know the Saudi ownership's gonna hire the best attorneys in the world
Yeah.
to figure this out, and then it'll be going under the rug, and it'll be another scam with the FA, right? Because they get punished. Nottingham Forest, they can punish Everton, but they can't punish City.
Right.
Um, if it all goes by the wayside, then it's a disaster.
That is a
Um,
disaster.
because they won't own up. They won't own up to their wrongdoing.
Yeah.
That's what I think will happen. Now to answer the question, I would prefer it if Arsenal won it outright. But some fans just want a trophy.
Yeah.
And you think about last year, we had Sleeper injured, and they want to blame Rob Holding for that. But it's not his fault. It's just
Yeah.
the team didn't really play up to standards. I mean, you're a Premier League center back, and
Right.
it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I hope is that they're punished and they're punished severely. Like they should be punished so bad that they should do the same punishment they did with Rangers FC all those years ago.
Oh
Send to
yeah,
send to the conference
yeah. See how much fun it is in the championship
or League One or League
or
Two,
League
right?
One. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that would be an excellent welcome to Wrexham. You
Yeah.
know, I would watch.
Go
I'd
ahead.
watch that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So it'd be a show called "Welcome Back to League One."
Yeah, yeah.
Welcome back, Carter.
Yeah, that'd be phenomenal. I know. Oh man, that'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
I would say
and
what
Pep can
one.
have Pep can have an afro.
One thing I want to say too is that one I really do appreciate just like from a Yankee perspective, like the whole welcome to Wrexham stuff and the whole like having like celebrities and stuff buying teams and like freaking David Beckham being in ownership for Inter Miami. Like I never thought in my wildest dreams that soccer would get so big here, or that this would happen. It's been really, really awesome for someone like me who's I've been a soccer fan since I was a little kid, you know.
Yeah,
And
because like whenever we were growing up, I don't know either, but the only way we watch soccer is on ESPN or ABC, right? Whenever
yeah,
we watch World Cups, and so
right.
I didn't have access to Fox Soccer Channel growing up until I was like late 20 or early mid 20s, right? We go to Vegas Street and watch games there. Um,
Yep.
so now it's on other Fox and Fox Sports One and Fox Sports Two, where we now get our World Cup and Euro tournament right now. So it's coming down to who's the best bidder as far as broadcasting those games. Um, Now I'm going to ask you this question, Derek.
Okay.
Which do you prefer? Do you prefer, or as far as World Cup broadcasting, do you prefer ABC or do you prefer Fox?
Shoot, I don't know. I would actually probably go. Well, I mean, Fox is actually pretty good with the broadcasting. I'd have to say Fox. Who do you prefer?
I was going to say hello to Arsenal Fan Circle channel. Hello, Ray. So Ray does the podcast on Thursday nights and Sunday afternoons, Derek.
Yeah.
So Ray was actually the first one to give me my first shot at podcasting. So I just wanted to say hello to him. And yeah, so sometimes I'm not busy or I'm busy on Sundays. I'll do a podcast with them. But we've been
Yeah.
doing it. I've been on this podcast since 2020, right during COVID. Um, so I just wanted to say shout out to Ray. Anyway, so
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I prefer. I miss old days. Of ABC and ESPN. It was a little bit different with Alexi Lalas and what's that guy's name who does it? Um,
Stuart Holden or there's Alexi Lawless.
Tyler Tillman, right?
Oh yeah, and Lexi can kind of be a dick sometimes too. Like
Yeah, yeah, he give you a bit too much.
yeah, I watch. Sometimes I'll listen to his podcast, State of the Union. I think is what it's called or
Oh
something.
God, is that pretty funny?
Yeah, it can be. I prefer. There's a soccer podcast called Total Soccer Show, and that one's probably that's been my favorite for years. One of the hosts died of cancer.
Yeah, okay.
He was an English, he was an English broadcaster who yeah, who was on the show, and he was awesome. And so they have a new cast of characters. It's pretty good, but Yeah, so they'll have Alexi Lawless on, and he's a character, man. Did you watch that World Cup in 90? I guess that was 96,
24.
94. That's right. Yeah, in the U.S. Yeah,
Yeah, because I remember those RCA T-shirts with each stadium on there or each place that had games on.
yeah.
So I had one of those shirts, and I think it was Reebok or Adidas.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
I remember those games because
Tony
I was
Meola. And,
yeah. Who else? Coco Jones, right?
yeah,
Kobe Jones, Kobe Jones,
Kobe Jones. Yeah,
Kobe Jones, yeah, and Carter Reyna.
yeah. I
Yeah,
love Kobe Jones. He's still like a
yeah,
he's like a legitimate nice dude. He seems like
yeah, really laid back, really like a beach kind of guy.
Yeah, yeah, real chill. That's funny.
Yeah, but USA, man, they've come a long way, but we've had a fair share of disappointments as well.
Oh yeah, no, I know
Um,
it's been really hard, especially for a country with 320 million people in it. We can't find like any 20 something guys to win the World Cup. I mean, come on, we got to do it.
yeah, there's hope there, I believe. Even though half the squad is not from USA themselves, but they have some kind of ties to it where it works out, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
what 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 are your hopes for both? I like England a lot. I don't know if you know it or not, but I have a big heart for England.
Me too. Yeah. Okay.
Now they have an Arsenal contingency there. What are
Yeah.
your hopes for this summer as far as England's zero chances and USA's chances in Copa de America?
I think Copa America. Last Copa America that the U.S. played, we ended up getting to I think the semis, and we played Argentina, and they beat the crap out of us. It was like
Hmm.
4-0. I'm hoping we do better than that. I hope that we can actually, or if we play Argentina, like at least like it's not a such a stark difference in level.
Hmm.
Like that's what I would like to see. Um, but for England, yeah, I think their chances are really good. I think Bellingham is insane. Like that guy's an amazing player, and I think Foden is phenomenal. And if they can play, if they, what I've heard about the English team is that it's always like too many cooks spoil the broth. Like there's too many hot
Right.
heads like in there. Like everyone's a superstar. But yeah, from somebody who's like grown up with the English Premier League, it's hard not to like English players, because they end up becoming like your heroes. I also am a huge fan of the Dutch team. I've always,
Oh yeah.
just learning about total football and Johan Cruyff and stuff from the 70s and everything. It's just hard. It's hard not to like kind of want them to win the World Cup or do well because and usually some of my favorite players are Dutch and my team in Holland is Ajax. I love Ajax. I think Ajax is awesome. And we've had players from Ajax before, uh, and I have always enjoyed like the Dutch style of play, And I think that we got some of that too from the arson ball, you know. Like I see that like total football. Like I think we do it. I think Arsenal when they do it better than anybody, including Ajax.
It's funny you mentioned that, Derek, about Holland and the orange, as they say. I have a good friend of mine who's a firefighter, Jesse Cox's friend, or Lieutenant Hopple, and he's from Rotterdam, Holland. And you know Jesse Cox, right? Jesse Cox.
Oh yeah, I love Jesse Cox. That guy's awesome.
Right, so he's a firefighter at Station 3 with Lieutenant Hopple, and Lieutenant Hopple was from Rotterdam, and he's a voice fine art.
Oh,
And
really? Isn't that where
yeah,
Percy was from? Isn't he
Van
Fine
Persie,
Art?
right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, boo.
yeah. And so
Boo on that.
there's the guy. I don't know if you remember this. There's a couple players that, well, and Giovanni Van Bronckhorst also played for Fine Art as well, who played for Arsenal too.
Yeah.
And he scored a great goal against Uruguay in the World Cup I'm pretty sure you remember that which goal I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, there was a strong player. There's some players that came from Fine Arts to Arsenal as well, and
Yeah.
I believe remember Thomas Vermaelen came from Ajax to Arsenal. And like yourself, if there were a player from Holland that I would have wished that would play for Arsenal as well would have been Wesley Sneijder. He was
Oh,
good. Yeah.
I think Snyder was so good. I wish that he would have fit right in with the play style too.
He would have, yeah. So I wish he would play for Arsenal.
I know, I'm so pissed that Rafael van der Vaart, he would have been good too, but he went to Tottenham. So, yeah.
And
Lame.
his career at Tottenham didn't last time, Derek.
No, he should have came. Yeah, because he should have came to Arsenal.
I forgot about him sometimes.
I loved Van der Vaart. Van der Vaart was amazing. Van der Vaart, that was awesome. I really enjoyed watching him play. I thought he was so good.
Yeah, but ever since I remember, Holland have been always that team that had strong tournaments, but they could never win those damn things. Because I thought that they were going to win the World Cup in 2010 up until Iniesta scored them goals instead. Holland there.
Yeah, I know that sucks so bad. Like Spain was just so good, and and by the way, it was Johan Cruyff's fault for going to freaking Barcelona.
Well, it's funny that assist from Iniesta came from Fabregas.
Oh yeah, well sure, yeah, I know. He just got promoted too. His team.
Yeah,
yeah, super happy for him. I like to see. I'm a little sad that company wasn't able to keep Burnley up, but sorry. Sometimes I like seeing players like try to coach. I can't believe. Alonso is like undefeated right now with like 50 games.
Yeah, Xabi Alonso, man.
Xavi's insane. What's going on? Yeah, I can't believe that.
Yeah, he was a great player, man. Like,
oh yeah.
He's also one of he's a good coach, but he was a good player. But never played for Liverpool and Real Madrid and Bayern Munich.
Yeah,
great player. He's very smart. He's very smart as well, and that's another player I wish we would play for Arsenal. He's very classy off the pitch. And,
not smart enough to not cheat on Shakira, but.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Apparently, he cheated on Shakira.
Jesus Christ, man!
It's wild.
But yeah, hey, Derek.
Oh, I gotta get going. I gotta cook dinner for my daughter.
All right, Derek. Well, again, thanks a lot for being on the podcast, and we'll do it again soon. Hopefully during the summertime or something like that.
Yeah, dude. This was so much fun. I had a great time. It was awesome.
All right, Derek, and I'll take it easy, dude, and see you next time.
All right, man. All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right.
All right, bye, guys.